Hey guys, welcome to Code Decode. In this video, we are going to look into a very hot and trending topic which is recently introduced in June 2026. This is one of the verb added in the REST API methods. Like we have get, put, post, delete. Now we have a very important HTTP method of the verb called as query. So let's get started and see what is this query which was introduced recently in June 2026. So query is one of the biggest addition to HTTP in many years. And that is why this is a very important question asked by most of the interviewers in interviews who are very connected to the latest trends going in the market. This HTTP query method is now an official internet standard in 2026 June as RFC 1008. It fills a gap that developers have worked around for decades. So you might have came across a situation that you want to search a product which is of category laptop, which is of brand Apple, whose price is this, whose sorting prices, who you have to sort with price, and a long query becomes. So if you have 10 more filters, then a query becomes very long, and that is what you used to do for search operations. Now when this used to become a problem, what developers start doing is when your query parameters becomes very large, sometimes the REST itself is not able to handle so many request parameters or query parameters. What developers started doing, they started using post that search the product, and all the queries or the filters is what I'm going to give in the as a JSON body, like this, that it should be query a category of laptop, it should be of these three brands, its price should go from this to this. So if you see in Amazon and Flipkart, when you have a filter option, the more you add the filter, the more query parameters or request parameter might add, and more filters means it is difficult for your get request to handle, and hence many developers moves to post. Only for searching they move to post, which is a very bad way, because the post is expected to make some changes to server or add something or do something, but this is just a search, it can be easily done by get. So for performing the read operations with a lot of request parameters or query parameters, you have two choices. For 30 years, we the developers have practically only two choices. If the query parameters and request parameters are small, you can create a get request like this, or if it is very huge, you can go to the post request, which is actually doing nothing but a task of a get request, but with proper response request body with all the filters. So these were two options. The option one was get, which was very good because it was safe, it was idempotent, it is cacheable, it is bookmark friendly and browser friendly. But the problem is when it goes beyond a limit, then encoding everything into the get request becomes very difficult because your URL becomes huge. The nested JSON is impossible. The URL length has a proper limit in REST API and you cannot go beyond that. It is difficult to read, and URL gets logged everywhere, and the sensitive filter appears in the browser history, which is very unsafe option. So option was not that good when your length becomes increases for your filter. Option 2 becomes post, where your developer starts giving a post request for search, and your request body contains all the filters like this. So the problem for long URL length was sorted, but semantically post was meant to change the server state even if your endpoint is read only. So semantically you are doing everything wrong. Also, you cannot cache the post request. Now the cache, the safe, all these things I'm going to cover in upcoming slides. But understand that giving a post request only for the search, which can be easily done by get, is not a good option. It is semantically very wrong. So that is why HTTP design was compromised for years and years by now. Thus, query comes into picture in June 2026 to solve this problem. Now think of query as you have a get request but a request body also, similar to post. For example, you query with /product search, but in the JSON body request, you give all the filters like category, price, and all those stuff. So query solves the problem of exactly this issue, that get with a proper request body is what becomes query, and servers sends you a proper JSON response without changing any state. So your server do not expect that your query should change anything on the server side. But if you send a post request, the server understands the fact that you might change something in the database, or you want to add something, you want to create something, you want to post something. But with query, it is very clear to the server that it is just a get request with a request body, because your length of parameters have become very huge. That is why you moved from get to query. But your intention is not to change anything on the server. Hey guys, so recently we have launched a very new course on Udemy, that is Spring Security 7. So now we have total of 2 courses, one on the Spring Security, second on the full stack application with all the deployment, pipelines, CI/CD, AWS Cloud, Kubernetes, everything. In Spring Security, we have covered authentication, authorization, filter chains, CRAN types, JWTs, OIDCs, SSO, CSRF, CORS, and very important, we have created here also a full stack project with a front end, back end, and security is implemented using Auth0 and Keycloak. Both of those authorization servers we have defined and created an end-to-end POC in this course. And the next course was on a full stack application where you understand microservices, Angular, JUnits, Docker, Kubernetes, AWS, EKS, RDS, Mongo Atlas, Jenkins, CI/CD, Argo CD, everything. So this makes a complete end-to-end project with front-end, back-end, and security implemented, deployed on the cloud also. Links of both of these courses will be given in the description below. Also, we will try to give some free coupons. Just let us know in the comment section for which course you would need the coupons. We will try to avail the coupons for the courses for free in the next month. Just for a small request, please leave your genuine, honest comments on these courses. That will help us create more such free courses or discounted courses for you guys. So now I'm going to make you understand all of these 5 very important stuff, 5-6 very important stuff, which is how you can differentiate between get, post, and query. So what is the request body in get? Practically, even if you give the request body, it is practically ignored, because get is designed to go around with URI. It has nothing to do with the body. So in the upcoming slide, I'll tell you there are most of the browsers, most of the servers which ignore the request body completely if the verb for HTTP is get. For the post, the request body is there, and for the query, it is expected to have a request body. The property for get is safe, post is not safe, and query is safe. The get and query are just read only, while post is intended to change the server state. What does the safe mean? Safe means the server state. Similarly is idempotent, cacheable, atomic retry, and complex JSON body. We will see each of them in this upcoming slide now. The first thing that we have covered is a request body. So get was designed to identify a resource using just the URL. It is not expected to contain the request body. So technically, if you give a get a request body, you can give it. Nobody is stopping you. But semantically and logically, it is very wrong. HTTP never completely prohibits the body on get request. This is also a very tricky interview question. 90% of the time when I ask, is the request body allowed in get? Everybody says no. But technically, if you would have tried practically, all the get request can have request body. This is technically legal. But why most of the developers don't use it? That is a best practice to not to use it, because almost every software in the world assumes that get has no meaningful body. So browser ignores it, Spring MVC ignores it, Express.js ignores it, even API gateway completely ignore and remove the body from your request. CDNs don't use the request bodies if the HTTP verb is get, and reverse proxies may discard it. So there are so many ways where even if you send the request body with get, it will be completely ignored, removed from the request, and you will be in trouble. So technically, nobody is stopping you to have the request body in get, but it is technically, officially, and semantically very wrong. And to fix this issue, to get to have a request body, now is a lifesaver called as query verb. So when you want to use get and you want to send a request body, don't go for post, go for query, which is recently introduced in 2026. Now for post, although HTTP specification allows get body, it is not interoperable, and that is why table says practically ignored rather than no. This is where the get table says request body is practically ignored, while the request body is expected to be in post and query. So in the post was built to send data to the server. Body is the main part of the request, and without the body, post is oftenly meaningless. So post does contains the request body, and similarly query was specially introduced in 2026 to support the read operations with the request body so that you do not have to go for post kind of stuff. So unlikely get, the servers, frameworks, proxies, all of these who used to ignore the body for get will not ignore the body for your query. So now, if you have moved to the good version and your HTTP is going to support your Spring frameworks, then you can always move to query kind of verb, which is expecting the body, and semantically it is correct also. To understand the body is a part of request. The second very important part of this is safe. Now, safe does not mean that your HTTP is secure, authenticated, encrypted, or hacked or not. Safe technically in REST API means that client is asking for information. So request must not change the server state. Now let me tell you with an example. Suppose you have a get and a query kind of stuff. So your server says, okay, now this request which comes with a get or a query kind of verb to me, it is just going to reach to me like a search for a product. So it is going to just return the products and database remains exactly same. You are not going to add any product. You are not going to delete any product from database. So this is a safe operation. So that is why a get, which is just going to search for your products in the database, or a query, which is going to search with lot of filter on your database, are safe operations because they are not going to change the state of database. No new products are added, no products are deleted, nothing is updated. But when it comes to post, add a user. So your database rows increases by 1. That is what is called as non-safe. So 90% of people says it wrong. When I say is the get or post safe, they understand safe means HTTP secured, authenticated. No, the safe means if HTTP verb is safe, if it is not going to change anything on the database. If it is going to change anything on the database, then the post, like post, is not safe. Now a quick question. Technically, get was designed to just search. It is not designed for delete. It is not designed to post, or it is not designed to have a request body. But nobody is stopping you. You can delete using get verb also. You can add the request body even in the get request. Nobody is stopping you. Bad practice it is, but nobody is technically stopping you. No exception is going to come. Sorry, you have added request body to get. The server is not going to accept. That is not going to happen. Server will accept your get verb with delete user ID with 10 also. And it can easily go and behind and do the delete operation. Nobody is going to stop you. But this is a terrible API design. You should not do that, but nobody is stopping you to do that. So even though get method is only for searching the data, it can easily go behind and delete the data. It just violates the HTTP semantics. So get should remain read-only. The third thing that we wanted to cover is idempotent. So which one is idempotent and which one is not? So first let's understand the idempotent. This is also a very misunderstood concept. People often think idempotent means your response always remains identical. That is not true. The idempotent means if you send the same request to the server 10 times, the server should be affected in the same way. The response can differ. For example, is get idempotent? Are you going to search for a product with ID 1? You are always going to have the same server state. The product is not going to be added, product is not going to be deleted. The only information is going to be returned to you. So your server is still in the same state. The same effect on server is there. So yes, get is idempotent. Same goes with query. Query is just get with filters in the request body. It is not going to add your product, delete your product, update your product. It's just going to search your product. So your server state or database state remains the same. So query is also idempotent, but post is going to update your data, add your data, delete your data, or do all those stuff. Then your server state changes, your database state also changes. That means it is not idempotent. It does not mean that your response remains the same. In some cases, your response can remain the same. For example, if you search for product ID 1, you will always get the same result. But if you search for a weather temperature, the temperature might be at 10 a.m. 30 degrees Celsius, but 4 p.m. 34 degrees Celsius. So response changes. But none of your records get deleted. None of your database gets changed. So yes, get is still idempotent. The response might have modified, but your database is not modified. So every request with post is created a new resource. That is not idempotent, but get and query is idempotent. Caching, now this is very important stuff again. Caching means storing the response so future identical request can be served without contacting the database or original server. So when you have a get request, so you get a product ID 1, the cache returns the stored response, no query is database queries there, and it's much more faster. But post is very, very dangerous to save. I'll tell you why. Post is usually going to create something on the server. Now caching would be dangerous because if first of all when you added the employee ID with 1, you might have returned a response that yes, it is successful. The second time you try to add another employee with ID 2, if caching would have been there and it would have returned yes, it is added successfully, but there's some network issue and employee 2 was not added successfully to your system, then cache has respond something which is false because it returned you the response of employee ID 1 added to the database, but we don't know about 2. So post is usually not cached. 90% time you don't cache it. But why do I say it is limited? Because sometimes there is a situation that even your post can return and mark yourself as cacheable because there is a header which says cache control. If that says you can cache me, then you can always cache. But caching is very limited with post and which is very uncommon and very rare. So most of the time you can always cache get and query, but you should never cache your post. So query is also safe because it does not modify anything. Caching the response is very safe because it increases the faster response time, it increases the user experience, and it reduces the database queries. Now the fourth in the table was automatic retry. So do you have automatic retries for get? Answer is yes. Because if the network fails, your browser can retry fetching the first product from ID 1. Nothing bad can happen. What maximum can happen if you try again and again 3 times to fetch the same product with product ID 1? Nothing bad can happen, right? But when it comes to post, take an example. Suppose a server completed a payment, but the response is never reaching the client. The client thinks, oh, might be the request has failed and retried and paid twice. So this is why usually retry for post is not done because it is going to change something on database and it might change multiple times how many times you'd retry. So automatic retries are not for post, but automatic retries are always okay for get. And same goes for query. Query retrying is also safe because querying is just a get with some filters as a request body. So it just performs the read operations. Again, no side effect. Query is safe for automatic retry. Now the last one is complex JSON body. So post is meant to have the JSON body. So yes, your post can have the JSON body, but get should not have the JSON body. And same goes with query. Query is just get with a request body. So query is expected to have a complex JSON body. So post and query can have the JSON body. Get should not have. It does not mean that you for sure will get an exception if you give a JSON body, but usually most of the time on the browser it is ignored. Even the gateway ignores it. So query exactly the same body that post can have, but unlike post, the operation clearly communicates I am only reading the data. I am not going to modify anything on your database. I'm just reading and searching for the data. So what is a typical use case for this query which was introduced in the REST 2026 RCA? The product search. So suppose you want to search for a product and you have a very large number of filters. Then those filters can go as a request body in the query parameters rather than the query parameters or a get request. The employee search can also, if you have multiple queries or filters for your employee search, you can use query. Elasticsearch. Now today many Elasticsearch API use post because they need a body. Now query is the best fit for such situation. Now fourth is very important and you might have heard it a lot from me, GraphQL. GraphQL is where you have a lot of parameters and you want to search only on basis of few, keeping all the other parameters null or empty. That is where you might even move to post, and many GraphQL queries currently use post. Now query becomes the best fit and the best choice because for read-only GraphQL operations, you can always safely move to query kind of stuff. In analytics, you can do this, and AI search, because of the large vector size payload, you can easily fit inside the query parameters. In the query verb with the request body. Now, what is the syntax? Syntax is like you used to have get here, you used to have post here, now you have query here. Then you go with the product/search. and then you give the verb HTTP slash 1.1. What kind of HTTP underlying version are you using? Then host, then content type, and then the request body. You see, this seems very similar to post. Just if you remove query and add post, that is also a valid one. So only for the post, the method changes to query. Rest all remains the same. Now you would ask me, this is also very similar when I use get and with the body. It still works in my Spring Boot application. Answer is yes. Nobody is stopping you to add the request body in your get. But technically, HTTP is not meant for it because most of the framework ignores it. Technically, HTTP never forbids the get bodies. It allow you to have get request body, but frameworks ignore it, like browsers, proxies, CDNs, ASP.NET, and API gateways. Now, because get semantics have historically been tied to URI, the body inside the get endpoint has been inconsistent and unreliable. Now, query is a standardized way to separate the methods with clear semantics. So now let's quickly compare the REST methods. The get is to read the resource, post is to create or do some action, put is for updating or replacement, patch is for partial update, delete is for removal, and query is just a get with request body. When your query parameters and request parameters increases in a very lot of length and you want a body to be attached rather than in the URL for safety, for security, for not revealing those stuff in the URL and all those stuff, then you can use query. So when you should use query? When your operation is read only, just like your get. But your request body is very complex. Your filters are very complex and JSON body is required. And even nested filters exist and search is very expensive and safe retries are desired. Then you use query. And when not to use query? For creating, updating, and deleting or any updating or partial update on the server, then don't use query. So for the quick summary, your query method is best thought of post syntax with get semantics. It accepts the request body just like post, but it is safe and idempotent like get. It is designed for complex read operations such as search, filter, analytics, GraphQL, vector search, but it avoids the long, lengthy URLs and encoding problems while preserving the semantics for caching and retries. Now, it is a standardized in RFC 10008 in June 2026, but ecosystem is still not there to support it. We are in very early stage. Your Spring framework might not yet support query as a verb. So if you think you can go and implement it right away, you might have to think twice about it because it is very recent. And that is why it is very trending and nowadays asked in a lot of interviews.